Ask Okana, and I am here with another episode sharing with you my manifestation journey to creating the life of my dreams and hopefully inspiring you to create the life you want as well. So I'd like to share some lessons that I'm learning at the moment. So I just really thought, because of what I'm going through right now, that it would be very helpful for myself and for anyone watching that I share on emotional intelligence from a manifestation perspective. The universe kind of just teaches us these lessons as we go along, and each one is absolutely necessary to get us to the next step on our journey towards our goals. So, as uncomfortable as some of these lessons might be, they are so essential, and I'm learning to have gratitude for them and not, dread them as much as I used to. Basically, everything in our life happens for a reason. There's a reason why certain people are in our lives. There's a reason why we're working whatever job we're working, that we look the way that we do, that we have the specific challenges that we have. There is a reason, and I believe that we have a purpose and that we're here to share like a certain message or to, help a certain population kind of overcome challenges that are similar to what we are able to overcome. And I know everything that I've been through in my life has brought me to where I am now, and I've gotten to the point where I would not have wanted to change any of it, because every bit of it was so important for me to become who I am. As difficult as some of those experiences were, like the struggle and the pain and all of it has made me strive for freedom like I never would have otherwise. If I hadn't gone through the things I went through, I'd probably be just living a mundane life, like not really with passion, not really, striving for more. I'd probably just be content. And that's the last thing that I would want. Having passion and having drive is so freaking amazing. I'm grateful that my past drove me to this, because I want more. And I hope that everyone watching realizes that they can have more and feel passion and live an inspired and magical life. It's possible for everyone. Life is like a video game. You're kind of, starting at an easy level. Things get harder. Before you level up, you've got to face the boss, and you got to have the big challenge to get to the next level. And you can kind of tell when you're about to hit a breakthrough, because everything goes into a state of upheaval. It's like shit just starts hitting the fan, and emotions are crazy, and everything seems to be going wrong. It's not just one or two things, it's like 3 to 5 things that are all happening at the same time. And I've realized that this is when I'm about to level up. So I can actually get excited when things start going crazy, because I'm moving into a different state. I'm moving up to a different level. And, my current situation doesn't support this new level that I'm going to. So it's fighting against it. It's almost like trying to get out of a rut that you've been in. It tries to suck you back in. And I feel like that's what happens when you're leveling up energetically. The old energy just wants to suck you back down. And so it's almost like a little bit of a struggle, but you can be encouraged because things are changing. Like what you're doing, the work that you're doing, your affirmations, your visualizations, your intent, your goals, things are moving. So it's freaking exciting. as challenging and sometimes as difficult as it can feel in the moment, just know things are moving. So what's happening for me right now, well, I mean, I'm living in this apartment, which I absolutely appreciate. It's a 1-bedroom, so cheap for me right now, and it's absolutely all I can afford at this moment. But I mean, I love the owner and I deal with him directly. I don't deal with like a management company. But like in the room pretty much right next to me, in this building, it's had some rough tenants in there. And at this time, there's one that is, I mean, the walls are so thin and I can hear everything. And he has a, girlfriend in there, and they're fighting all day and all night. I'm not kidding you. And I can hear everything. And my bedroom is right by like the wall that's separating our apartments. And I haven't been able to sleep in 3 nights. And I have to say my emotions have been worn thin. Like at one point I was crying multiple times in a day. My adrenal glands just felt frayed, like, lots of anxiety. My dog is freaked out because he's a rescue and loud noises scare him. And so, he's been shaking from the slamming of doors over there and the screaming and the yelling. And it's the type of person where I don't feel comfortable going over there and saying anything. I have talked to the landlord, and supposedly he's going to be out next month, which is only 7 days away. So let's see if this happens. So I feel like I just need to kind of get through this, but it's definitely brought up a lot. Like my emotions have been so affected by what's been going on that, it's affected my job. It's made me start to notice everything wrong that's going on in my life. Like, whereas before I was feeling pretty good and I felt pretty positive, now I'm like noticing everything bad that could ever be happening. And, it's just like a snowball effect, really. So I've had to do a lot of soul searching, trying to, get to the bottom of what is happening. Like everything that happens is for a reason, and I know that I'm being guided. And, I want to be in the flow of what the universe wants for me. And I know that I'm in the flow because I can feel it, and it feels right, and it feels good, and it feels exciting. And so one belief I'm overcoming is that being in the flow is hard. I'm realizing through this that I've had this belief that it's hard to be in the flow with the universe. But actually, it's hard to be out of the flow. Fighting the flow and natural current of universal energy is hard. So I'm making things harder for myself than I need to. And so I'm learning a lesson in surrender and trusting the process and knowing that everything is happening for me, even this challenging situation. Something really important that I am learning is emotional intelligence. It's a big one for me. I've never had it. And I know that a lot of us are not taught emotional intelligence in any type of school. It's something that you kind of learn when you have to either go to rehab or get therapy and you've already got like serious issues, then somebody might mention this to you. But emotional intelligence is so essential in being able to live a life that you desire and feel the way that you want to. Because basically what emotional intelligence is awareness of our emotions, other people's emotions, and their deeper meaning, like the meaning behind people's behaviors. It's probably not what they're trying to show you by their behavior. There's probably something deeper going on. And so it's having empathy and understanding when other people are expressing and reacting emotionally. But having that awareness for ourselves is so important. And the fact is, we have control over our emotions. We might forget that because a lot of times, like, these thoughts and beliefs that pretty much generate the emotions and determine our emotions are so habitual and are like just programmed in our subconscious. When something comes up and something happens, our bodies just react. Emotional reaction, those neurotransmitters are released. We don't even have a chance to register what's going on before these emotions happen a lot of times. Joe Dispenza is awesome to follow on this subject because he'll talk about how our bodies are actually like another brain, and our bodies will think, and remember things and react to things before our brains even really register it. So it's good to realize when emotions come up that there's something behind those emotions. There's a belief, there's a perspective, there's a perception that we're having that's driving those emotions. And emotions are, so important when it comes to manifesting, because we're taught, like law of attraction or Neville Goddard or whatever other manifestation gurus you can find, pretty much everyone will agree on the fact that thoughts plus emotions are really what drive manifestation. And so being able to control how we feel is essential. If you want to create good things in your life, you're going to want to feel good and get at the right vibration to attract those things into your life and to become that person that you would be if you have all those things that you're desiring to manifest. So learning emotional intelligence, it's key. And it's not always, a straight line. Sometimes it's very up and down, and it's okay because old programming, it might take time. But having love and compassion for ourselves and understanding what's going on, that it's, past programming and that it's not really who we are. It might be taking over our whole body, and it might make our heart race, and it might, make us feel completely drained, brain fog, or whatever. But it's still something that we can change and get to the bottom of. There's absolutely hope. I used to be such an emotional wreck. And when I first started this journey, literally, I was crying and depressed for weeks on end, and far more bad days than good. And if I can go from that to, I've never felt better in my life. This coming up for me right now is like a rarity. I really don't have things like this come up. But I'm grateful because I get to take a look at this. We don't have to be controlled by other people, by our circumstances, or by things that are happening around us. None of that has to determine how we feel. We can absolutely choose what we want to believe in any given moment and how we want to perceive it and how we want to feel. I've recently listened to the audiobook Man's Search for Meaning, and it was so powerful. It's kind of just mind-blowing what this man went through. He was a psychologist that went through the Holocaust and spent 4 years in a concentration camp, or multiple ones. And the first part of the book just talks about his experience in this concentration camp and what he learned as he watched and observed his own emotions and what other prisoners were also going through. And he could see when they first realized what was happening to them, going from the shock to the devastation to the resolving to the giving up to whatever stages that they were in. And, he was able to find purpose and a way to get through what he was going through. And he was able to go into his own mind during the most difficult time imaginable for any person to go through. And he was able to find peace thinking about his wife and, able to go into a completely different space in his mind. And he realized that, nobody could take that away from him, that his internal state was his alone. And even though he was there in those horrific conditions, he had control over his internal state. And that was probably a huge reason why he survived and made it out alive. So ways that I am using to become more emotionally intelligent and transform this experience that I'm going through into a positive one, into one that is empowering, and into one that I can use to share with you now. So basically, step one is having the awareness. If you're, having these crazy ass emotions coming up and you're feeling terrible, you're having outbursts, your body feels awful, like you're practically making yourself sick, people are worried about you, or your behaviors are just, not what you would like. This is when you need to be aware that something's not right. Like, you are not being emotionally intelligent at this moment. And maybe you need to take a look at that. Step two, and I'm learning this a lot because I love to follow Joseph Rodriguez on YouTube. And he's been on a really great thread of observing yourself and being able to observe emotions that come up and observe reactions kind of from that observer perspective, the I am. So it's kind of not identifying with the emotions or with the reactions or the behaviors. It's realizing that, those are just programming. It's not who you really are. So you're able to kind of disconnect from them and take a step back and look at them objectively. Some of what you would be looking at would be, your body. How does your body feel? What are the physical, repercussions of these emotions that are coming up? What are the emotions? Can you write them down? Can you identify them? What are some of the behaviors, like the reactions that are stemming directly from these emotions? For me, what really helped after, being able to see what was going on, meditate. Like, for me and this situation that I'm in, I really needed to take myself out of the situation because it was loud. Right now it's quiet, which is kind of weird. But I needed to actually get out of the situation. Like, I took my dog actually to my sister's a few times so that he wasn't so traumatized. But, I went with my dog to the park. We sat down in the grass, and it was great to connect with nature and watch the sunset and just sit with myself and, do some meditation, get to that place, that quiet place where everything's okay. That infinite self within, is whole and complete, and everything is okay. So it was good to connect back to myself in that way. Also, breathing is incredibly important. And then I had some conversations with myself. Like, what are these emotions meaning? Like, why am I reacting this way? What is this coming from? And so I was able to look at a lot. I'm still placing a lot of importance on my happiness on my surroundings and on people around me. And I don't want to live like that. I want to be free, and I want to enjoy my life. And I want to attract awesome people into my life. But, I realized that I used to have an alcohol problem, and I used to be like these neighbors. I used to be crazy, and my relationships were toxic, and I used to fight and yell and scream, and I pissed off many neighbors in my time. So I don't know if this is karma or if this is just like the past coming back for me to let go, just release to the universe. That could be part of it. But just like realizing that, you know, I don't need to react. I can take a deep breath and I can be okay. That I can put in my earbuds and dance to some music and not even listen. And I can put on some soft music for Charlie or take him to my sister's and we'll be okay. Like, this gets to be motivation for me to go move on to the next spot, to become successful in what I'm attempting right now in my life, you know, to just really drive me forward. I can look at this as an opportunity to dig deeper, to, you know, be so connected with who I really am that no one and nothing can move me. And so I was able to totally reframe everything into actually an opportunity and be grateful for it and be like, hell yes, like this is happening and I appreciate it because I am gonna level up and I'm gonna be able to help somebody else to be free of negative emotions. I don't wanna give my power away anymore. Power is mine and I get to choose how I feel and what I think. Next step is to decide on what is the conclusion of this situation. Like, do you need to go into action? Like whether it's physical action, such as me leaving the apartment or reaching out to my landlord or getting Charlie out of this apartment, you know, or do I need to go over there and talk to them or give them a letter, or do I need to call the police? Like, what does there need to be action that needs to happen? Also, that action could be just like meditating, visualizing a good outcome, you know, using manifestation practices and being able to, you know, attract the right solution into my life, seeing positive things for these people and, you know, praying for them and hoping the best for them. You know, that's also some action. And then do I need to take inaction, such as surrender, just releasing? Is this an opportunity for me to let go of control and to realize that really these type of things are not in my control? I could move somewhere else and have the same problem. So I don't want to keep moving and having the same problem come up. Like, I want to see what's going on, learn the lesson I'm supposed to learn, and release it. This is so important for me because this is not something I want to continue to repeat in my life. So moving forward, I'm going to continue to observe when emotions come up and when the feelings, it's habitual. So they're going to come up, but I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to go meditate at the park again. I'm going to, you know, reframe things over and over and over again. And I mean, I already see it happening. I'm feeling better. I'm just feeling more free. Like, everything is okay. I'm learning the lesson I need to learn, and I'm feeling guided by the universe, and I will get through this. And so will you. Whatever you're going through, embrace it. Don't pull away from it. Don't fight it. Don't hate it. You know, allow those emotions to come up if they do, but, you know, embrace them. Just let them be. And before you know it, they'll dissipate. And then you can be in the state of mind that you want to be in. Thank you for listening and have a beautiful day.